Hello everyone, this is Shoaib Yaqub, your AFM mentor and tutor. Let's discuss the exam tips which will be very useful in your coming exam. Number one is read the question carefully. देखने में बहुत easy लग रहा है. So it's a very simple suggestion, read the question carefully. But whenever you are solving a question, before solving the question, read the requirement carefully. You must understand each part of the requirement. And do not just assume that these requirements would be same like the past papers. No. For example, if requirement is about the Treasury Department, that doesn't mean examiner will always ask the centralization and decentralization. Once in an exam, examiner was asking the disadvantage of not having a swap agreement. Disadvantage of not having a swap agreement. So if you simply write the disadvantage of the swap, you will not get any mark. So number one suggestion is take a pause, keep calm, have a faith on you, and read the question carefully and highlight the important part. Number two suggestion is make sure your narrative answer is an appropriate length for the number of marks, using a rule of thumb that each of your point addressing the requirement may be worth 1 or 2. So what are the mistakes students are doing? For lower number of marks, for a minor part, students try to write a very lengthy paragraph. And for a major marks portion, students often write a smaller portion. So as a rule of thumb, whatever point you are writing, that will be worth of 1 or 2 marks. So if examiner is asking discuss, you should discuss enough to get the full marks. For example, if there is a 5 marks scenario, at least you should write 3 to 4 points to get the full marks. Because for each valid point, you will get 1 or 2 marks. If you read the examiner report or if you read the marking guideline, for each valid point, often examiner states that I will give 1 to 2 marks. So make sure your narrative answer is of appropriate length. If there is a minor part, you should write a small portion. If there is a major part, you should discuss in detail. So that is a very important part. Number 3, read the scenario and consider where issue can arise. Reference figure from the exhibit or your calculation and explain why something is particularly relevant in this specific case. So this is very important. This point is very important. Whenever you are writing something, when you are discussing something, you should refer your answer to the exhibit. So the plan is, whatever you do numerically, you should do the numeric in the spreadsheet. For example, in part A, there is an NPV, that will be exhibit 1. In part B, for example, there is a IRR or MIR calculation, that is the exhibit 2. So now when you are discussing in the word spreadsheet, so if you are writing something and referring it to the NPV, that would be referring to the exhibit 1. Referring to the MIR or IRR, that would be referring to the exhibit 2. So that is very important. If you are writing general point, remember the rote learned answer will not gain much marks. You will only get the minimal marks. You have to relate your answer with the scenario. So if you are writing anything in the discussion, link it with your numeric answer. If you're writing anything in your case, link it with the scenario. Write the name of the company. Link with the information given in the scenario. Examiner is not expecting general answer from you. Examiner is expecting a clear-cut linked answer, scenario linked answer from you. Examiner wants that you should give the advice to this particular company. Remember, there can't be a general advice to every company. There can't be a general advice. A doctor cannot give medicine, one medicine to all the patients. No. It would be a patient specific. So your discussion should be scenario specific. Remember this. Then the next point. Approach the professional skills as being integrated into your technical answer by providing full and well thought out answer to all of the requirement. Remember, in part A, there is a 50 marks question and you will get 10 professional marks. In question number 2 and 3, there are 5 professional marks each. There is not a separate requirement to writing the professional marks, to get the professional marks. You have to show your professional skills in a given discussion part. So whenever you are writing, write under the impression that you should write enough, you should write well enough to get all the professional marks. For example, if examiner is saying you have to discuss your answer, you have to write the pros and cons of that particular scenario. For example, if you have to discuss the comparison between NPV and IRR, you have to discuss with advantage and disadvantage with the pros and cons. For example, if you have to comment on a particular situation, for example, there is a question of risk management and you have to discuss the comparison between forward and option, forward or future. You will write the pros and cons and discuss in detail. But whenever there is a word discuss and you have to discuss the comparison between forward and future, discuss the advantages of forward in comparison with option, discuss the disadvantage of forward in comparison with the option, and same vice versa, same you will do with the option. So approach the professional skills as being integrated in your technical answer. So whenever you are writing theory, it should be in your mind that you will get professional marks only if you critically challenge the assumption, you will get skepticism. If you link with the scenario, you will get evaluation and analysis marks. And if you check, if you give the examples, and if you evaluate the financial viability, the commercial sense of the project, you will get the commercial acumen marks. And in the question number 1, if you make a proper report, the proper format, with the proper headings and proper ending of the question, then you will get the report marks, the communication marks on making a proper report in question number 1. And if you are doing numerical, your numerical should be proper labeled in the spreadsheet. If you're writing a figures, your figure should be 2 decimal, your figure should be 2 decimal space apart, and you should give a comma between your figures. For example, if you want to write 10,000, it should be written in this way. If it is 48.50867, you shouldn't write in this way. It should be 48.51. Give the command on the spreadsheet. It will round off it to the 2 decimal. Round off it to the 2 decimal. Give the proper heading. Bold it. Bold the heading. Exhibit 1. Proper label it. Part 1. A part. Write NPV of the given project. And it should be Exhibit 1. That's how you will approach your answer. Properly label it. Remember, you are a senior finance manager. You are writing this report to the board of directors. And when you are writing anything to the board of directors, there is no chance of mistake. You know, I am working as a financial advisor to one of the richest family of this country. You know, if I write a report and there is a blunder, there is a mistake in the report, there is no impression. They will immediately fire you from the job. So remember, if you are writing a report, you have to do it, properly label it, it should be correct. Obviously in exam, you can try it to achieve 50% of this. Next is explain why you think a particular point is relevant, or justify your conclusion. The examining team is keen to hear your reason why and demonstrate a depth of understanding as well as good knowledge of the financial management. For example, if you identify a risk or any issue in your scenario, do not just state it. For example, you have written that cost of capital is 10%. Explain it. You have to explain it. For example, you have identified that it is assumed that tax is 10%, tax rate is 20%. It is assumed that terminal growth is 3%. You will not get marks if you simply state it that terminal growth is 10% or 3%. Explain the reason. Explain the reason how it is calculated. For example, if it is given that cost of capital is 10%, you have to challenge that there is no information given that how cost of capital is calculated. Whether company has taken the project specific discount rate, the project specific beta, the risk and financial risk and business risk of the project or not. Challenge it. And if it is written terminal growth is 3%, you can't write this. It is assumed that terminal growth is 3%. You will write that terminal growth is 3% and it is believed that this will remain constant for the foreseeable future. This is not practically possible. Growth cannot remain constant for the foreseeable future. And if you think that growth is higher, remember, higher terminal growth cannot be sustainable. A company terminal growth cannot be higher than the GDP of that country for a longer period of time. So, do not just state. Do not just state. Explain your answer. Explain your point. Justify your point. That is a very important thing. If you simply state the assumption, you will not get any marks. You know, there are many students who are demanding some super theory notes in the WhatsApp group. Someone was asking me, sir, please write some special assumption points which I can write in the investment appraisal and which I can write in the merger and acquisition. No, that is not possible. You have to identify assumptions from the scenario and you have to link with the scenario and you have to challenge those assumptions. If you simply state your answer, you will not get marks. Next point is very important. Keep an eye on the time. Question number 1 should be completed in 1 hour and 30 minutes. Question number 2 and 3 you should complete in 45 minutes each. And there is a 15 minutes, that's the bonus to read all the questions and the requirement to plan. Try not to overrun. Remember, the major mistakes which students normally do, they get emotional with the question number 1. They usually spend 1 hour 45 minutes or 1 hour and maybe 2 hours on the question number 1. If you do that, you will be run out of time plus the marks. Calculate how long you should spend on each question and stick to it. Leave the question number 1 exactly after 1 hour and 30 minutes and move to the next question. That should be your approach. Last, when discussing result of the calculation, it is insufficient just to state the result of the spreadsheet. Say one figure is higher, lower, negative, positive. This is not the way of answering your question. For example, I have seen answers. NPV is positive, except the project. You will not get marks. Seriously, you will not get marks. This is super important. If the requirement is to advise, recommend, or evaluate, you have to explain it. You need at a minimum to make clear that you advise or recommendation in the financial grounds based on your calculation. For example, if NPV is positive, explain it. Project NPV is positive, it is increasing the wealth of shareholder, we should accept the project. However, company has taken this assumption. This is not practically possible. Therefore, company should run scenario analysis, sensitivity analysis to improve the result. Company should apply other methods. For example, if examiner is asking you to choose the best derivative, forward, future or option, and you have solved the question with forward, with future and option. For example, it's a case of export and future is giving you the higher answer. Do not simply write accept the future, choose the future contract because it is giving higher answer. You will not get the marks. Compare the future answer with forward answer with option answer. Write that although future answer is higher, and if we choose the future contract, it is flexible, it is available, it is easy to close. However, there are certain problems with the future. There is a margin requirement with the future. There is a basis risk for the future. Then discuss the forward and then discuss the option. Maybe at the end you will recommend the future, but discuss with other. Compare it with other. If you are simply stating that answer is positive accept, answer is negative reject, answer is higher accept, no, you will not get marks. You have to explain, justify your answer. Remember, you are a senior manager in that company. The management is willing to invest billions, millions of dollar, rupee on your recommendation. And you shouldn't be rude enough that you will write accept the project because I'm saying I'm a senior manager. No. You have to explain the reasons. You have to tell why accept, why reject. If you are rejecting, explain the reason. It shouldn't be the human behavior. Okay, reject, I don't like you. No. You have to give the reason here. If you're accepting, you have to give the reason here. Justify it. Thank you so much, guys. And please keep all these points into your mind. If you need any help, my number is given. Do contact. If you need anything, any information regarding AFM, FM, CFA, I'm here to help you people. Bhai hazar hai aapka. Thank you so much.